In this channel, we bring you the freshest discussions taking place in Japan's online community. Out of the 3.41 million foreigners living in Japan, about 820,000 are Chinese, making up about 1 in 4. Although Chinese crime by illegal immigrants used to be a social issue, the Chinese community has diversified recently, ranging from technical interns from rural areas to wealthy residents in high-rise condos. The trend of Chinese immigrants settling permanently is also increasing.
They'll eventually form their own autonomous region. In the end, the world is rigged, unless you're born in a permanent member state of the UN. Why don't they start a revolution and make their own country better? Even so, 1 in 7 or 8 people on Earth is Chinese. It's not surprising. Why are Chinese people so loud? They talk loudly without caring about others around them. It's really annoying, and their manners are bad. With the yen's depreciation, Japan isn't appealing anymore. So they'll decrease, right? They're investing more because of the weak yen. High-rise condos in Tokyo are full of Chinese. In Tokyo, most of the people driving luxury cars are Chinese. Rich Chinese people are fleeing to Japan. They're disliked worldwide, so Japan is their only option. Because of the severe censorship in China, naturally, they want to come to Japan where the food is good and it's safe. Wealthy Chinese people are generally okay. They're not vulgar. When I stayed at the Prince Hotel in Hakone in February, more than half of the guests were Chinese. Most of them seemed calm. But it's sad to think they might be monitored by undercover police. No, they're spreading out everywhere, like the US, Canada, UK, Australia, and now they're increasing in Japan. It seems like Canada and Australia have started stricter regulations. To bring Japan down, we don't need missiles or aircraft carriers. It's like a Japanese version of the Americans. It's already like the Eastern Barbarian District of the People's Republic of China. Recently, I've seen Chinese-sounding names on the nameplates of houses. It depends on whether they try to change the culture. Also, those who act based on whether someone is one of their own or not, rather than on right or wrong, are a nuisance. If they don't commit crimes and work properly and pay taxes, it's fine. But criminals, the unemployed, and those on welfare should be deported. Japan can't afford to support them. While it's true that the proportion of Chinese permanent residents is increasing, the most noticeable foreigners in Japan aren't Chinese. In fact, it feels like there are fewer Chinese people around. In the suburbs around Tokyo, Chinese people stand out. I often see children who speak native Chinese, so they must have come here recently. Chinese people are concentrated in southern Kanto, especially Tokyo. Nearly 1/3 of Chinese residents in Japan live in Tokyo. The rest of southern Kanto, including Saitama and Kanagawa, also have a high number of Chinese residents. From kids to adults, they are really noisy. It's unbearable. Rich Chinese are risking their lives trying to illegally enter the US. From Mexico, what kind of Chinese people are coming to Japan? Those illegally entering the US. From China are the poor. The rich own real estate in places like Singapore and live a luxurious life. It's fine if educated Chinese people integrate into Japanese society. But if they create mini Chinas and start demanding rights, they should leave. What will these Chinese residents do if a conflict breaks out over Taiwan? Speaking of which, Chinese people's assets would be frozen by the US. If a conflict over Taiwan occurred, the old Chinese communities were decent. But the recent illegal immigrants are a problem. The earlier ones were mostly Taiwanese. The recent ones are from mainland China, which is why areas are turning into Chinese districts. In Tokyo, Koto Ward has the highest number of Chinese residents. They live in better places than Japanese people. No wonder there are people flying drones to take pictures of warships in Yokosuka. It's a kind of hidden asylum. They're essentially fleeing the Chinese government, but can't openly declare it, so they move to Japan. Most of the multi-million-dollar villas in Niseko are owned by Chinese. But if they were really smart and rich, they wouldn't be buying land in Japan. If Japan is overrun by Chinese people, the US won't be able to control Japan anymore. About 2% of Tokyo's population is Chinese. That's a scary number.
Did you find this video interesting? We'll keep bringing you fun topics from Japan's online community. Please subscribe to the channel and drop some comments.